Hi Pisces, here's a general look at your solar chart for December 2015 and January 2016. But before I go there, I just want to share some astro thoughts with you. Now that last month I was mentioning the Saturn-Neptune transit, how it's affecting us over November, December, and also popping up again at times in 2016. I also mentioned the Uranus-Pluto transit, and I just want to say something else about that now. These two, of course, are behind the general change, meltdown in some cases, huge radical change going on across the globe, culturally, economically, socially, to do with belief systems as well, especially now that Saturn has come into Sagittarius. I'll be saying more about that in the stars for 2016, which are coming out very shortly now. I just want to mention in the first half of December we have Mars in challenging aspect to Uranus-Pluto. Mars can be a little bit of a trigger for these two, and tensions that are pushed down beneath the surface inherent in the Uranus-Pluto aspect will emerge, will get pushed up, like tectonic plates kind of buckling and crunching against each other, and then explosions of sort of like, the tension or the volcanic eruptions, and of course it's for a fleeting time. It's just over the first half of December. Every time Mars comes around into a cardinal sign, the same thing's going to happen. Has done in 2015, will do in 2016, and of course in 2014 and 2017, because the Uranus-Pluto transit, even though it's no longer exact, is going to rumble on for a few more years, and we will see the effects globally of this. And those of us who have been on the planet a long time can really see the distinct and marked changes going on, and just how things are run, and not only that, but how the general tone of the way humans are one with one another, coming more from the mental side, the intellectual side, and far less from the heart side, because of course through the internet and through texting and blogging, and we are using our left brain a huge amount more than just meeting people down the pub. So anyway, that's a whole other subject. I just want to mention Mars coming onto here, triggering these two, might be minor in your life, but I'm just looking at the global sort of situation here. The tension build up could, is always looking like a pressure cooker for a way of release. So this could bring out the harsher side, the manipulative, controlling, unscrupulous side, particularly when Mars and Pluto get together. There's usually sort of underhand dealings going on. Or if it doesn't feel like that, then it can just feel like that one has got one's arm twisted up behind one's back because of some kind of emotional blackmail. Now, of course, we can bring these things on ourselves as well, feeling conscientious and obliged, etc. But just want you to be aware of that. So going back to the worldwide sort of influence of this, you can get an idea by the way of where these are in your natal chart, if you have it, by seeing which house they are in and then looking it up online. There's a plethora of information now online for everything to do with astrology, so just find it online. I'm going to tell you where they are in your sun sign forecast a little bit in a few minutes. So the global effects will involve, again, the banks, the governments, the financial property markets, the establishment, the status quo, and of course there's many in these sorts of positions that don't want the power base to shift, and they are in the habit of steamrolling over our universal freedoms. And of course the internet's going to come up as well, in this sort of way, as well as maybe radio and TV, because of Saturn being in the communication sign as Sagittarius. But so one side will tend to feel sort of outraged and victimized, and the other will seem, that they will they will not have a conscience. They will see it as their inalienable right to do these things, and will seem quite ruthless and only concerned with maintaining the control that they are used to, because they're trying to balance the books, or they just see it as they know better. And then on the flip side, energy levels can be very, very high with Mars-Pluto, I have to say. So in your personal life, if you do have a mountain to climb, if you have a fight on your hands, then under this transit, much can be achieved, and you will possibly win as well, because even though Mars is in a contentious sort of angle with Pluto, it's a sort of energy that you need, which is very stubborn, and it's energy that will dig its heels in and help you. It depends on where Mars-Pluto, of course, is in your chart. So for some people this will be minor, for others, and then you'll notice people around you that you know are getting it more strongly because of the degrees. It's always to do with the degrees of these things on a planet or on an important point in the chart. But you'll probably win, and but you won't be able to do that without modifying something along the way, without maybe letting go of something and compromising along the way. And you'll have to be canny and intuitive, listen to that gut knowing, as the powers that be, or the controlling faction, whether that's, bosses, teachers, parents, or something even bigger than that, circumstances beyond your control, can feel like it's beyond your ability to do anything about. But this is a great aspect for getting to the bottom of things, digging out the rot, and doing that in whatever way necessary, and then to regenerate, starting with whatever is left to build upon, whether that's in your private life or in across the globe in a bigger sort of a way. And instead of coming from ego, a fear-based mentality, and this is a big ask, because we are in a time of opportunity to shift into a much more expanded, advanced level of consciousness, and this is our invitation. This, we're still in this in this turning point time, and before the whole thing shuts down, if we can't sort of step up to the plate in some way and do things in a more compassionate, refined, elegant sort of way, instead of just shouting and screaming and shooting at each other, then we're going to end up right back where we were before, and then we have got to wait another few thousand years for the other opportunity, the next opportunity to come round again. And that is related to the galactic center. So just thought I'd mention that. And now for the rest of the forecast, until the 22nd, the sun is at the top of your chart along with Mercury, meaning that your maybe outer image, your professional side, your public side, or just your goals and ambitions will be more center stage. There will be more perhaps conversations, correspondence, or just interaction with authority type figures, whoever they happen to be in your life, whether they are bosses, teachers, parents, or just the bureaucratic, or the officials in our bureaucratic sort of societies, and you may find your goals and schemes, they need communication. Okay, so there'll be an interchange in and around there. And then Mercury moves out of there, leaving the sun behind, and goes into quite a fast moving forward, a moving area, and it's a period to get together with others, to discuss things, to mull things over with others, to learn from others. So making connections, a very social area, making connections. Others could find you interesting and articulate, or surprising in what you know or what you have to say, and vice versa. You could find that with others. This is a time for you to be maybe allowing your, I don't know, your inspirational mind to sort of chip in from time to time and just kind of put some bounce into maybe your more logical sort of thinking, if that's the way it is with you. Now, Venus, just up until the 5th, is in quite a deep sort of place, meaning that you are feeling things, you're more sensitive, you can also touch other people's feelings with Venus here, or others can touch yours, and it's a good time for you to, it also rules money, Venus, so it's a good time for you to, if you need to acquire or seek out resources or funding, it's a good time for you to be doing that. And then Venus moves on the 5th. In the previous place, you know, things which are joint interest, shared space, or maybe property or finances dependent upon another. There's more of an ease and flow there. All other things considered, of course, and of course I can't do that from here, but there tends to be more ease and flow there with Venus in that position. And then from the 5th, Venus moves and goes into an area where you could be connecting more with others far away, at a distance. I mean, we all do that nowadays. I'm doing it now with you, but others who have a knowledge and expertise that helps you to get the pieces of the puzzle that you need, or maybe it's travel with a partner, maybe it's joining together with another, connected to another culture, those at a distance, a place at a distance, or just a different belief system, or a different way of thinking. This also means that you could connect very well with a teacher figure, or a consultant, or an advisor, or a mentor figure. And that's for the whole of the rest of the month. Mars is in the sector of your solar chart which is, again, sensitive, it's introspective, it's intuitive. Listening to your gut, knowing is a good idea with this one. Having to tread carefully with relationships, perhaps, and also the letting go, a feeling of letting go, of maybe just refining things. So whether you're decluttering or having a rethink, or you're changing a previous setup, whatever it is, this Mars position tends to mean coming up against a pre-existing agreement or condition, and then because of this resistance, there's some kind of inner shift, particularly this month, because in the first half of this month, because of Mars being on Pluto. So it can be a bit emotional. It can be that you have to let go of something in order to be able to move on. But you know, all in good time. Even though the trigger is there in the first half of the month, the actual consequences could kind of roll on a little bit longer than that. You could be more intensely interacting with others, or you could have just more intense feelings about things, but also have to be quite quiet. Maybe you have to bite your tongue sometimes, and just not let on. This is also an area to do with what's shared and what's borrowed and what's owed as well, and legacies and that sort of thing. So you not want to put all your cards on the table with certain people. And then from the 22nd, the Sun moves into an area which is quite forward-moving, can be fast-paced. You could be connecting with a specialist group or group of kindred spirits, or particularly friends. So these sorts of feelings and associations could be more center stage, and something which has been on the back burner sometimes for years and years can now, you know, really spring into life and start moving forwards. Now, this takes us on into January 2016. The Sun's going to be there until the 21st. Mercury will be in quite an introspective sort of mood the whole month. and behind the scenes, maybe a lot going on within you or behind the scenes. And also we'll be going retrograde between the 5th and the 25th. So if you follow the astrology, you will know exactly what that means. And if you don't, then there is just wall-to-wall information about astrology online now. Just look up Mercury retrograde and you'll find out that basically it can mean hold-ups and delays. And also you haven't got all the information. It's sort of, you know, questions hanging in the air, and you haven't got the responses yet. You haven't got the delivery. You haven't got the feedback. So that's the sort of feeling of it. But on the other hand, it's very, very intuitive, and you being a water sign can be very intuitive. So just trust that intuition and have that faith. And then Venus has changed, and Venus is at the top of your chart, oiling the wheels with authority figures, softening relationships with people who are usually seen as quite sort of rigid and strict. These are officials. These are maybe bosses, teachers, parents even, but just people in so-called positions of power that you deem to be in your life at the moment, or maybe not power, but authority. And and Venus there tends to just loosen things, relax things, make it more friendly and more sociable. And then Venus moves on the 24th into a very sort of friendly, again, fast-moving sort of area where you can connect with friends and associates, make new friends, connect with a specialist group of some kind. Mars is, until the 4th, Mars is in the same area of clearing the decks, quite an intense area until the 4th. And then from the 4th goes into a very different area. It's chalk and cheese, these two, and is very outgoing and expansive. In fact, sometimes I think I should just, with so much astrology online now, just give you the house positions, and then you can look it up from all over the place for yourself. But in a nutshell, this is the time for you to join up the dots, to get the overview, to get the clarity. Even though Mercury is still in this background area, there will be a different type of clarity. It will be maybe a more emotional clarity that you're getting. Yeah, I would say that's probably it. Also, this might not work like that. It might be that you are on the road more, you're traveling, or you're connecting with those who travel who are at a distance, or maybe not like that. Maybe you're connecting more and having a more dynamic connection with people who advise, people who are specialists who can advise you, mentoring, teaching, and turn that around. You could be consulted with for your ability, your knowledge, your wisdom. And then the rest of the planets are all in the same positions as they are in December. So that was all for January. And now the December and January positions for Saturn is that Saturn is in an area to do with your more public image. This is the time over the next 2 years for you to sort of redefine your place in the world, and maybe also your life direction, among other things. You Piscean spawn from the 25th of February to the 2nd of March, or with 6 to 12 degrees rising, or the 1st to the 5th of February and 11 to 15 degrees rising for January. And then Jupiter is opening the way through close personal professional relationships. Because of those key associations, your horizons are going to be broadening over these many months ahead, and others that you connect with closely, in close relationship, whether they are people you know from before or new ones, they're going to be opening up your world and helping you, triggering new growth within you. And you'll learn a lot through them or because of them. You Pisceans born the 10th to the 14th of March, or with 20 to 24 degrees rising, are going to feel that energy the most, and it doesn't shift much from December to January, so it's both the same. And then Neptune, of course, is in your sign, and you must strike a balance of putting aside your own ego desires in order to be the support or the enabler for another's goals and ambitions, or indeed for the common good, and your own style, your own life that you're here to live. So you have to find that very, very fine balance. And Pisceans born the 25th to the 28th of February, with 6 to 8 degrees rising for December, will feel the energy the most in December. And then those of you well, they hardly change at all. I mean, it's February the 25th to the 29th. Yes, it's a leap year. In January 2016, it's those of you born from February the 25th to the 1st of March, but this is a leap year this year. Or if you were born in a leap year, it will be until February the 29th. This is getting a bit complicated, but hopefully you are still following here. And then those of you with 6 to 9 degrees. In other words, it doesn't move very much at all between December and January. That's the position of Neptune. And just a quick, brief mention of Uranus for many years in your second house, meaning that, and this again you can look up, but just a little snippet, meaning that there will be you'll have to adapt to changing conditions regarding your material security, and there's always this feeling of maybe just moving through here. I'm just passing through here, that kind of feeling. It's not absolutely set financially, or to do with property. To do with possessions as well, I suppose. And the more innovative you can be, or the more connecting in with the group dynamic to maybe to earn your income, the better that one's probably going to work for you. And then Pluto in the 11th means that there can be quite some radical and sometimes quite emotional shifts and changes regarding your maybe historical allegiances with others, friendships, or historically certain groups, certain organizations, certain groups of people who you felt a kinship with, but maybe because Pluto loves to evolve us, you just beginning to grow out of those relationships now, and vice versa. Those people as friends or groups are kind of evolving and changing in a way that doesn't, you don't click with anymore. So that's sort of kind of the nutshell of that one. And that's it actually for December, January. And if you want to check anything out, you find it on my website. Also, the stars for the whole of 2016 will be coming out very shortly. And I wish you well during the festive season. I hope you have a fun time. And that's it. I will see you the next time.